In chapter 25 of Boruto TBV VORTEX, Boruto offered up his body to Momoshiki in exchange for his power to defeat Jura. When everyone initially seen this deal exchange, they immediately thought of scenarios of how Momoshiki versus Jura would go. But what a lot of people may have missed or failed to mention is the end result of this deal being the start of the most important battle of Boruto's life. And I'm not talking about Jura. So before we get into the video, as you guys can see, I upload videos like this very often, and they usually do pretty good in the YouTube algorithm. That's all thanks to you guys dropping likes and showing love. So for this one, I was hoping we can get around the usual 400 likes we normally get on videos like this. I would deeply appreciate it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So even now, it's still a little hard trying to figure out what this deal truly entails. I read spoilers heavy. If you're a constant viewer on the channel, you know that. And you also know sometimes, or excuse me, most of the time, we have to wait until the official release drops to truly understand what a character may have meant. A simple mistranslation can switch up the meaning of a whole statement. And in this chapter, you'll really see what I mean. So initially when Boruto said to Momoshiki that if they can beat Jura, then he'll give up his body to him. In the fan translated version, it says, if you can defeat Jura, then at that time, I'll give you this entire body. But in the official, it says, if we're able to take down Jura, I'll give you my body. You see, these two pages have a totally different meaning. If we're talking about the fan translation, then when he says, if you're able to defeat Jura, then that implies that Boruto wants Momoshiki to fight Jura solo. He wants him to take control over his body and use his own battle IQ to find a way to defeat Jura. Now, when you say it the other way, that's when it gets tricky, because when he says if we're able to beat Jura, then that could mean several things. It could mean that Boruto wants to be able to use Momoshiki's power via the karma, but still stay in control over his body. It could mean that along with the karma, he wants to fight alongside Kawaki. It can even mean what I just said, he wants Momoshiki to take control. So the fan version is more straightforward with that statement. But since the official is, well, the official, then that means we won't know exactly how the fight is going to go yet. Or at least IKEMOTO doesn't want to let us know. But regardless of what we think will happen during the upcoming chapters, the reality of the situation is that Momoshiki will probably get scammed. Boruto is mainly using his desires against him, because he knows in order to defeat Jura, some tough decisions have to be made. I don't outright think that Boruto is just gonna lie to Momoshiki to get what he wants, but I do think the situation is deeper than it really appears, because obviously the main objective is to defeat Jura to save the planet. However, that piece would be short-lived if Momoshiki had Boruto's body. He would 110% wreak havoc in Boruto's body and probably end up trying to cultivate a divine tree on Earth. And Boruto does know this. He knows that Momoshiki isn't to be trusted. So therefore, next chapter, I believe he will add to the deal. Something like, if I were to give you my body, you can no longer stay on Earth. Like, you literally have to leave Earth and never come back. That's the only way I see this happening. And on those conditions, I would say it's fair on Momoshiki's end. If he truly wants to be free of this curse of being trapped in Boruto's body, then I believe that's a fair deal. I mean, he doesn't achieve his ultimate goal, but he still gets to live free and potentially get even stronger than before. But this scenario only manifests if Momoshiki is able to defeat Jura. That really determines everything. If Boruto lives or dies, the future of Boruto's overall character, and whether or not he'll be able to actually control Momoshiki's power, it determines all of those. So that's what we really gotta look at now. How does Momoshiki match up with Jura? That's what I've been really thinking of lately. And the more I really sit down and think about it, I'm not gonna lie, the more I see him just losing. Momoshiki's current level of power surprisingly is still Boruto Naruto Next Generation's level, which means he was surpassed by the likes of characters like Kawaki, Sarada, and Boruto. If we were to put these characters and insert them into the battle against Momoshiki a few years ago, then they win that fight convincingly. Very convincingly. We look at a character like Ishiki, who is strongly considered to be more powerful than Momoshiki. So if we look at it like that, then we can say that the current Kawaki would be able to beat base Momoshiki. Kawaki just recently removed his limiters, which gave him access to the full extent of Ishiki's raw power and abilities. It even had him using Ishiki's staff. So right now, Kawaki's closer to Ishiki than not, and that's only in base. And we confirm this because of Boruto's plan to be killed by Kawaki if he runs amok. As he said in chapter 15, the same chapter where Boruto tells Kawaki to get his limiters removed and then go to Tsunagakure. He anticipated that Kawaki would have his limiters removed when he said this to him. So even before Kawaki had his big amp, Boruto trusted that Kawaki would be able to just kill him if Momoshiki takes over, because he understood how powerful Kawaki would be once he removed these limiters. He probably understood more than Kawaki did. And that's not the only indication that Kawaki is stronger than Boruto with or without Momoshiki. The whole deal itself is a plot for Kawaki to just kill Boruto. Basically, if Boruto and Kawaki manage to take down Jura, and Boruto uses Momoshiki's power to do it, then he'll probably give him his body as promised. But at that moment, Kawaki can just get rid of Momoshiki. The odds of Kawaki just letting Momoshiki run around free in Boruto's body is close to 0. So the real plan is for Boruto to be murdered by Kawaki again. Boom, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get rid of Jura, the main villain of the series and the one who currently has the Earth on a ticking time bomb. Then you kill Momoshiki, who's still a threat to everyone as well as the planet, and especially Naruto, who Kawaki's desperately trying to protect. I don't even have to mention Gold, because without Jura and the rest of the Shinju, Kawaki can just find and dispose of Code easily. And then you can free Naruto and Hinata from the Daikokuten dimension, and I guess since Kawaki is a maniac and the Otsutsuki's biggest hater, he'd probably just eliminate himself after he's done with everything. I mean, he said so himself quite a few times. So I mean, yeah, that's definitely a way everyone can become safe again. But I'd say it's not the most ethical, nor is it the way anyone would want to deal with the situation, not named Boruto or Kawaki. But yeah, getting back on track, now that we have a good idea of how Kawaki stacks up with some of the other characters in the series, I still wouldn't say he has what it takes to bring Jura down solo. I know Kawaki hasn't necessarily gone all out versus Jura, but I mean, I could say the same thing about Jura. He was holding back against Boruto and against Kawaki. He still wasn't going at 100%, nor was he at 100% until he healed himself. And it doesn't help that Jura was able to completely brush off one of Kawaki's strongest blasts, which was meant to kill him, by the way. And it didn't work because Jura is just able to regenerate at pretty much any time he wants. So therefore, I don't think there's really any chance of Boruto and Momoshiki being able to defeat Jura. Now, this changes a bit if we're talking about Boruto and Kawaki, but that's still unknown until we really see how powerful Jura is going all out, holding nothing back. Which I plan to make another video going over that topic as well, because I can't include that in this video. So you know what, if you want a Boruto and Kawaki versus Jura video, then get this video to 600 likes, I got y'all. So hypothetically speaking, just for this video alone, let's say we run into a scenario where Boruto uses Momoshiki's power, or Momoshiki takes over Boruto's body and they still lose to Jura. What happens then? Because I definitely think that's a real possibility. It's not like Boruto or Momoshiki has anything that could really do any meaningful damage to Jura. Besides Uzuhiko, which Jura is able to nullify, might I add, trying to injure him is going to be a huge challenge. Because to defeat a Shinju, you essentially have to one-shot them, or else they'll just regenerate. That's how all the Shinju were defeated before, not including Matsuri. She was mentally nerfed heavily. So Jura's no exception to that. If he's defeated, it'll be a one-shot. With regenerative powers exceeding the other Shinju, that's the reality of the situation. So if Momoshiki were to lose to Jura, I don't think he would just let Boruto shove him into the corner of his psyche forever. And with Momoshiki being the reason as to why Boruto can't control his karma or fight alongside Kawaki without losing control over it, something has to be done about Momoshiki. And I think I know exactly what can be done. A permanent solution, which is basically a battle for control. To prevent Momoshiki from going back to his life of despair, I definitely think he would challenge Boruto. But what's so different about this fight is whoever wins gets permanent control over the vessel. That's how they can potentially settle the situation for good. You see, I actually got this idea from rewatching Naruto vs. Kurama. Naruto fought Kurama to gain control over his immense power, and through his and Kushina's efforts, they were able to beat Kurama and help Naruto unlock his first ever KCM transformation. You see, internal battles are not a new thing in the series. Himawari did it in the very same chapter Boruto met up with Momoshiki, so it's possible for them to fight if necessary. And through this fight between Boruto and Momoshiki, we're gonna see just how strong Boruto gotten throughout all these years. Seeing how his father and master were able to take down Momoshiki years ago, and now seeing Boruto fight with the same guy and beat him, it's gonna show the immense gap between him and the rest of his peers. Now thinking about it, I think I would rather this outcome than for Boruto to just be offering up his body. And this is way more exciting too. Just think about it. With this being the only way for Momoshiki to finally be free, he wouldn't let this opportunity pass him by. Now, this battle would be a test of willpower, simply who wants it more. It's not a battle of strength. Boruto and Momoshiki both have goals that they wish to accomplish, which makes this even more impactful. But whose resolve is stronger? Momoshiki's desire for power and destruction, or Boruto's desire to save his family? And I think it's perfect for the development of Boruto's character, to be able to overcome his tormentor and the main reason why he's in the circumstance he's in. So I think this is a good test for him and his own destiny. I mean, I don't want to spoil this potential video I have for you guys, but I have to say that Boruto's mentality has changed a lot throughout the years. As the optimistic boy who left Konoha 3 years ago, to now willingly giving up his body to Momoshiki, it definitely leaves some room for questioning where he's currently at mentally. Actually, there was also multiple times throughout the story where I get the feeling that Boruto doesn't believe what he said back in chapter 13 anymore, about restoring the Uzumaki household, as you guys can see on the screen, especially when talking about reversing omnipotence. So this is what Boruto needs. Throughout this fight, I believe he can get a boost of confidence and morale through gaining control over himself again. So again, hypothetically speaking, if Momoshiki and Boruto somehow end up losing to Jura, does Momoshiki just end up quietly going back to being trapped inside of Boruto? Or do you believe he'll try something as desperate as to challenge Boruto for permanent control over his body? Is that something you would want to see if it does become a reality? Or would you rather see them fight together like Naruto and Kurama? Let me know how you guys feel about this, because I would rather them fight it out once and for all. The fight would not only be about control, and to see who deserves to be in control, but it would also be good for the overall characterization of Boruto, and it could possibly revitalize the value he places within himself. So basically, it'll be a mental imp for him. Let me know how you feel down below in the comment section. I'm really interested in all your opinions and thoughts, because now thinking about it, I think that's something that you guys would love to see. But yeah, that's really it. Boruto versus Momoshiki, the fight nobody expected, but somehow we all need to see it. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more like this in the near future, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you know whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.